Well, you know this had to be coming sometime soon. Jurassic World is the latest installment in the highly successful Jurassic Park franchise. So, the sequels were kind of hit or miss. So how does this one compare to the original, and how does it compare to the other sequels slash ones we want to forget about because they're so bad? Well, first of all, let's set the record straight. This movie actually kind of pretends that the second and third installments in the Jurassic Park franchise never actually happened. This is actually more of a direct sequel to Jurassic Park. Is it good? Is it worth your time? Is it worthy of the Jurassic Park name? In a sense, yes. Actually, this is a very, very fun and pleasant movie. Let's start off with some positives. The characters in this are very, very good. Well, the heroes at least. As is the case in a lot of Jurassic Park movies, the heroes are very clean cut. You know this is the good guys, they're very obvious. This is one of Chris Pratt's best performances to date, as he brought this new level action hero, charisma, that was a lot of fun. It was like Indiana Jones meets Star-Lord kind. I'm at a loss for how to properly describe his character in this, but he was a lot of fun and I really got behind him. There was even a couple times in the movie itself that I thought, this actually feels more like an Indiana Jones moment than it does a Jurassic Park moment, which kind of gets me on that bandwagon of, I kind of want Chris Pratt to be the next Indiana Jones. I know that's been a rumor circulating for quite a while now. After seeing this, I want that to happen. He would be great, I think. Before this, he was just that funny guy. Now I've seen him more as that bona fide action star. He's really good in this. We also have some supporting cast of two young boys who are kind of like a side quest kind of thing, who eventually meet up with Chris Pratt. They were tolerable up until a certain point, in which case I got more invested in them. I would go into more detail about that, but that's dipping into spoiler territory, and I might still do a spoiler video for this movie, because I liked it so much, and there's so much to talk about when it comes to spoilers, but I want to refrain from that for this sake. Bryce Dallas Howard, the redhead that you see in the trailers, she was okay. She gets on your nerves in that endearing kind of way. She's not horrible. You grow to care about her by the end of the movie. And then they have like a less developed version of Hammond in this movie. He's fine. I liked seeing him on screen. There's some great comedic relief in this movie, but there's some pretty clear-cut evidence as to who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. Like right off the bat, you can just go, yep. When it comes to who's going to be dinosaur fodder by the end of the movie, you're like, oh, you are going to get eaten, and I can tell you now how you are going to get eaten. And that's pretty much how it plays out. It's pretty straightforward. This movie is pretty predictable, but in a fun way. It's not like a bad predictable. I was also a little bit disappointed that this movie didn't really have any live dinosaurs. What I mean by that is, no, not like living, breathing dinosaurs, but the original Jurassic Park, and even some of the sequels, had like gigantic puppets for the close-up shots that made the dinosaurs look more real. This is very much all CGI, but the CGI does look very, very good in this movie, and it really doesn't take away from the film not having those live dinos in this movie. One of the biggest positives of this, however, is actually the main antagonist, the Indominus Rex. There's been a whole mystery surrounding it, with not really a mystery because some of those trailers really gave too much away, I think. But this dino, oh my gosh, I was terrified of this thing. It's a whole bunch of different dinosaurs like mixed together, and since Ian Malcolm told us that that was a bad idea, sure enough, it's a bad idea. This thing is really overpowered. It's got camo, it's got razor sharp talons. This thing will eat you for lunch and not even hesitate. It'll have you for like an appetizer. This thing is terrifying in the best way. Like, I was not afraid of the T-Rex in Jurassic Park nearly as much as I was afraid of the Indominus Rex. This thing was amazing. I also very much bought the Raptors, actually. When we first saw that trailer of Chris Pratt riding along the motorcycle, riding alongside Raptors, I laughed. I thought that was utterly ridiculous and over the top. I was like, really? We're descending into this territory? It actually kind of works in the movie. They have a very interesting dynamic, and without going into much detail, I actually began to care about the Raptors and the characters. But that's where the movie misses in some cases. The characters, as I mentioned, is pretty cut and paste as to who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. It's not very interesting when it comes to the characters. They're just kind of there. They're cardboard copies that you've seen in time and time again in other movies, probably a little bit better. But some of the performances are just that good that you actually care about them. And I will say that this is the first time in Jurassic Park history that I can actually think of off the top of my head that a character that I actually liked died. I'm not going to say who or how, but I was just surprised that this person bit the dust and how they died. Because it's pretty clear cut that off the bat of the bad guys, all the bad guys died, pretty much, in like some cruel, ironic way. I actually kind of liked this person. They were entertaining in the couple scenes that we saw this person, but oh well, sayonara that person. And the finale was great. Yeah, it's not the best cinematic masterpiece, but if you like Jurassic Park, it had a nice, I'll go with homage at the finale. There's a big fight, and it's great fun. It's probably what Godzilla should have been. It's a monster movie that's not afraid to show off its key monster, the Indominus Rex. Godzilla, we didn't get a whole lot of him, and that kind of took away because it relied too much on the characters that frankly were not that interesting. Bryan Cranston should not have been killed off. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Godzilla or frankly care, but come on guys, Bryan Cranston probably should have lived. He was much more interesting than Quicksilver. This movie relied more on the characters, and it wasn't afraid to show its big monster. As a whole, it was pretty good. It did rely a little bit too much on some wink and nods to the original Jurassic Park with some moments, but not as much as I was actually thinking. I thought it was going to rely way more on inside knowledge and jokes of the original Jurassic Park and its sequels. They're there if you keep an eye out for them. Some, yes, are a bit obvious, but I actually thought there were some missed opportunities that they could have had more references. But it didn't take away. This is very much its own movie. You don't need to see the previous Jurassic Park movies to like this one. It's just a very good, solid, fun movie. It's a lot better than I was expecting it to be. Not that my expectations were low for this, but it just surpassed them. It was a very, very good and fun, action-packed, edge-of-your-seat. Like, there were some very, very intense scenes. It's just action-packed, edge-of-your-seat fun. Without a doubt. My ranking? 8 out of 10. You gotta see this. Must see in a theater. It's a theater movie by far. What did you guys think of Jurassic World? Have you seen it? Have you not? Are you interested? Are you not? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel or find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 17 Movie Reviews. Stay sharp, movie guys and gals.